Hello and welcome to another episode of What's Inside. Today we're looking at Murder at the Mission. This is a adult game for 6 people. It's weird because you actually need to have 6 people to play this, but it's one of those adult themed murder mystery games. This is a very early version of those. This is from Just Games, style number 8305, and it's kind of dumb, not gonna lie. They had a couple of these games. I think there were 4 of them total, 3 or 4 of them. Hit the picture down here. There was Who Killed Roger Ellington, Murder by Proxy, the 12th Night Murder, and Murder at the Mission. Basically, this contains 6 character packets with clues, 5 invitations for your guests, the murder plot, a sealed solution, and a game starting 33.5 RPM record. You will need a record player to play this game. Now, this is kind of a weird find. This is very early adult murder mystery dinner theater sort of event. There weren't a whole lot of these around at the time, so finding one of these complete could be a bit of a challenge. I found this at a Goodwill of all places, and it cost me $1, and it's complete. So let's see what we got here. So let's pull all this stuff out and look at it all at this one time. Alright, so there's an empty box. So what they give you here is a little sheet of paper, which is an advert for their other ones. Oh, there's also a coffee house murder and the 3-ring murder. Here's a novel way of combining both a dinner party and home entertainment in one enjoyable evening. Host a dinner party for 6 or 8 people. Who Killed Roger Ellington was 8 players. Murder by Proxy was 8 players. Murder at the Mission was 6. The 12th Night Murder was 8. The Coffee House Murder was 8 players. The 3-ring murder was 8 players. They were $17 each. Wow, that was a lot of money back then. So I don't know if this would be worth it, because this is really cheap. And I'll show you what I mean. This is the record. It's a vinyl piece, alright, but it's not the kind of vinyl you would get normally in a record. This is the type of thing they'd insert in a magazine. It is grooved. Because this is such thin, flexible material, these are usually destroyed. And it's real easy to scratch the grooves on here. Shockingly, this one's in beautiful shape, because I don't think this was ever used. I think somebody bought it, opened it, hoped to play it, and never did. So it looks very new. There's some kind of sketched writing on here that I think just kind of was a printer thing. This is from 1984. This is the 1984 version. Yeah, I thought this was actually older than that, because it looks like it. But yeah, this is just an early dinner theater game. So when you're looking for this, just remember that you need the record, because it sets up what happened, and it is everything you would hope it would be. Melodrama, goofiness, stuff like that. Yeah, I really thought this was older than that, but this is really cheap for the 80s. Alright, so here's the invitations that you'd send out to your friends to invite them to this catastrophe. Alright, I think there's supposed to be more of those. Yeah. So there should be 5 envelopes that you send out, because this is a 6-person game. And what they'd get is they open it, and oh, the Murder at the Mission, Who Killed John Lancaster? Dear blank, as you know, our dear friend John recently died a most tragic death. Unfortunately, you are one of the suspects. At blank o'clock on blank, We will be gathering at blank to discuss this ugly matter. It's imperative that you attend to clear your good name. Copyright Jamie Swiss Games. Yeah. I don't know why they needed the copyright on the invite, that text right there. First of all, no cop is ever going to invite you to a party is telling you that you're a suspect in a murder. This Columbo stuff doesn't really happen in real life. So, you have an about the characters when you open it up. There's a plot scenario. And there's a thing telling you that this is a game, idiot. In case you thought this was real. The game you are about to play is a true role-playing game. Peruse the cast list and familiarize yourself with the players' backgrounds as well as your own character. The rules will be given to you at the gathering. Prepare to live your character once the game begins. So in this one, your characters are Reverend Bobby Wilson, Holly Farr, Mary Smith, Billy Bedlam, Pigeon Annie, and Luther Dibdall. That's a stupid name. Plot scenario takes place The plot scenario: Last Chance Mission resident John Lancaster was garroted while he slept. That's rude. Shortly after a Christmas party. A vivacious and caring person, Lancaster lectured often about the despicable conditions which so many people in this land have endured. The time, December 26, 1977. The place, Chicago's West Madison Street. And it just gives a little bio about the characters, but I just read you this page. And then on the back is where you would actually mail it with their real life address, and you have to affix a stamp. It doesn't come pre-stamped. So you'd get 5 of these, and I believe they're all identical. Yeah. So there's 5 of these to invite 5 people. Then there's also the clues. This is a character booklet. Note that they're stapled. So you got to be real careful not to rip these. This is a character packet for Bobby Wilson. Then there's one for Holly Farr. And then Mary Smith. The names are kind of generic. Billy Bedlam. Pigeon Annie. And Luther Dibdall. That name's kind of weird. And this is a perforated sheet. Basically, you pull the staple out, and or don't, more likely, and you get to tear each clue out as you find it, which really just involves conversation, as I recall. I've seen these used before, not one this old, but there are similar ones out there. You tear here, and inside is a little thing about your character here. And then each clue you unravel to try and solve the mystery. Whoever gets the 4 clues usually figures out who did it. And quite honestly, most of the time these aren't that hard, and anybody really paying attention is probably going to see one of their idiot friends give it away. But there is a rule book for the game master of sorts. Really, it's designed, according to this, for 3 men and 3 women, because there are 3 or 6 characters, 3 gendered for each team. So, yeah, I don't really think that a modern audience would have a problem with, a male playing a female character. So if they do, they're probably not very fun people anyway. So there is a little rule book, the host instructions, rules of play to be read by the host. No beating each other up, that sort of thing. To start play, about the recording, the plot, about the characters. And this information here about the characters is actually just the same as what was in that letter that we read that had been sent out. And then on the back you got an advertisement. And then the murder solution is actually in here. So since everybody's playing, you kind of have to be sure that you know who did it. And this is probably the most important part. The envelopes that get sent out, you could actually play this without those, because everything that they tell you is in the rule book itself. The characters and the clues, those have to be here because you need these to get the clues. So if any of these are torn off, it's useless. So that would have to be complete, and so would the solution. Otherwise, you're going to wing it or have to rewrite it on your own. But that is Murder at the Mission from Just Games. It's kind of a rare thing if you're really into like the dinner theater stuff. Tracking down one of these might be kind of cool. Like I said, I found this at Goodwill. I got it for like $1. And it's totally complete and in really nice shape, as you can see. None of the staples have been removed. None of the clues were torn off. So I could probably round up some people that wanted to do something really outdated and semi-lame and do this. Or I could just go play Dungeons and Dragons. But you could conceivably play this game still. I don't know how well it will hold up. It's probably incredibly dated, honestly. And if you have a record player, hey, that's very hipster of you. Good job. Or you're my dad. So, but I'm pretty sure you're not my dad, and he shouldn't be watching this anyway, because I disappoint him enough. But Murder at the Mission, it's an interesting novelty game. If for no other reason than the historic value of the whole role-playing aspects, because role-playing was very controversial in the 80s with the whole Dungeons and Dragons panic and the Satanic Panic that was being put out by Bothered About Dungeons and Dragons and organizations like that around this time in the mid-80s. So yeah, I'm not going to get into the history lesson on that, although that would make a very good episode. But that'll do it for this episode. As always, thank you for watching, and we hope to see you next time on What's Inside.